My name is Nafe, and this is Rohan.
Hi, I'm Rohan. We're co-founders at Humine. We founded Humine in late 2022. So it really stemmed from an understanding of how patients in clinical trials are really the driving force behind the breakthroughs that come from them. However, they're not seen as true partners in this research. So this really drove us to not only provide them with functional access, ownership, and control over their data, but bring them into that picture such that they're not only contributing from a data perspective, but then can also influence the entire trial design.
Yeah, so what we've identified through clinical trials that we help run is significant problems when it comes to patient engagement and the patient really not being treated as an equal collaborator in research. And so we identified that, as well as the lack of privacy and data ownership that the patient has in the form of clinical trial. Compensation not being given to them in a way which values their efforts in the research itself. And so we decided to look at multiple different things, including blockchain, as well as other expertise that we had. And we found Alio to be the perfect sort of bridge between privacy as well as compliance, which is both of which are super important in research. And we decided to build Humine, which is a patient engagement platform that gives patients ownership and access to their data, gives them compensation for their data contributions, while also enabling researchers to have much more efficient and compliant research studies.
Clinical research today is collecting more data than ever from electronic sources. So that could be your electronic health record, wearables, patient applications on your mobile device. And there's this urge to decentralize operations and task completion such that it can be as accessible as possible to diverse populations. It can be adaptive. However, the adoption need for this during COVID has led to a standard that has prioritized data collection while still centralizing quality management of data. So it's really a harmony of these two functions that allow everything to be smooth sailing. So that really made it very apparent to us to place real-time trustless verification at the patient level.
Well, we're really excited to be here with Alio. We really think that Alio is the next step when it comes to blockchain technology. And what we really would like to emphasize here with our presence is blockchain's utility in solving a lot of these really hard problems, especially when it comes to regulatory and compliance. So that's something that we haven't seen too much of in the Web3 and blockchain space. And we think that that's really the untapped potential that we'd like to unlock. And we're really the foremost sort of example of that, hopefully, for Alio, as well as the industry. So we have a patient app, which users are able to download on the App Store once it launches. And they can connect all their health records from various sources, including their hospitals that they've been to, lab systems, or like their own clinics, etc., as well as any data from studies that they participate on the Humine platform. They can then get matched with studies, or they can go find some on our platform and go through a full enrollment process. Once they're done with that, they then complete tasks, which include surveys, data collection via wearables or other sort of smart devices, and going to like a research site, which would be in the form of a clinic or a hospital or something like that. And so all that data goes to their device. They then get paid as they're completing these tasks on a set schedule. And that way, patients are able to functionally own and really be equal collaborators in research. So that's the patient side. On the researcher side, they're able to see the quality of their data in real time, something that really isn't possible without zero knowledge proofs and the way Alio has applied that. So that way they can know how their sort of study is going without actually seeing any specific patient details, which needs to be blinded to maintain the integrity.
Yeah, we're actually closely working with Alio to integrate zPass such that we can make this as holistic of a solution as possible. And it's really end-to-end, from patient recruitment all the way to patient data return. So the integration with zPass really allows us to not only identify the right patients, but giving autonomy to them to really join a trial on their terms, such that they're as informed as possible and their privacy is preserved. Trials today require a lot of real-world data, which is historical, your entire medical history, your diagnosis, blood samples, any wearable data that you've collected over time. And this is all in aggregate form that is very potent and very useful for identifying the right patient for a trial. However, today it's very fragmented in terms of how these patients are addressed and approached to partake in these trials. It's usually during a doctor's visit, sort of an inopportune time where they're there for an entirely different reason. So bridging that gap such that it's as easy and accessible as possible for patients to join a trial is really what we're focusing on currently. And then we're also working with a top pharmaceutical sponsor for piloting the solution such that that function is streamlined, as well as regulatory compliance and integrity of data during the actual trial collection period is as streamlined as possible.
So I would say what we've learned being in this space for the past 3 years or so almost is it's really interesting the applications of blockchain when you focus on trustlessness and compliance and verification, and it being like a tamper-proof audit trail, rather than sort of getting too carried away with crypto and the speculative side of the industry. So what I'd urge is for founders that are coming into the space or builders to look at what unique solution you can create for a very important problem, and don't see regulatory as just an enemy, but a potential collaborator if it's set up the right way. So that's something that we definitely learned through our experience.
Yeah, it's really a matter of coordinating between all the different stakeholders involved in any high stakes, high regulatory environment dynamic, right? So in our case in healthcare, there's the patient, there's a trial sponsor, which is usually a pharma company, as well as regulatory. So it's making sure that incentives are aligned such that everyone really understands the value of their data contributions and the utility of blockchain is maximized. It has a lot of real world applicability and a lot of impact and change can be made by focusing on the problems that are very existent due to, not only legacy infrastructure, but the demand for more and more data to be in these sort of settings. So yeah, it's really focusing on the problem at hand within a certain environment, as well as maximizing the utility of blockchain.
Sure, yeah. So we are at Huminelabs on X, on Instagram. Huminelabs.com is our website. Also, you can find us on LinkedIn. And and me and Rohan, we're also on X and various platforms. So you can find us there. Connect us on LinkedIn there too. So excited to meet everyone. Hi everyone, I'm Nafe, co-founder and CEO of Humin.
Hey everyone, I'm Rohan. I'm the co-founder and COO at Humin.